All right, so this is my video for talking about the PIO position that a lot of fire and EMS departments will have. This project was more supposed to be set up for an interview style, but that's not available to me at this point in time. So this will be my submission for that. So how would you describe your role as a public information officer? Well, the PIO is responsible for creating and enabling concise and clear information between government agencies like the one I work for, and news media outlets and the general public. Their job is to disseminate information, right, wrong, indifferent, but to give out the truth and the facts. And that helps to build trust and communication with their community. Secondly, why is the PI role helpful for an emergency medical service agency? Well, public information officer is kind of a new and emerging role for us in EMS. I can tell you a lot of services around me here do not have a PIO role available. And we actually need these type of roles, especially for these departments that are, let's say, in bigger cities. And we in the EMS community need better representation. And the public need education and updates on issues that will concern the community, such as the American Heart has information in their journal called Circulation that indicates that the patients that receive bystander CPR have a 46% chance of higher survivability. So if we could educate the public on the importance of going to a free CPR class hosted by your local fire department or EMS department, we could help, have a better outcome in a lot of these situations. So how would you describe your policy for handling media requests? So throughout the course of information I've received about PIOs and the learning I've gained, I think it's also a good idea to be prepared. So media requests are going to be handled at a scheduled time and place, given the PIO, the Public Information Officer, time to prepare the information. As a full-time EMS instructor, I can tell you that an old saying goes a long way. If there is a fog in the pulpit, there'll be a mist in the pews. If you haven't prepared your lecture, or if you haven't prepared what you're going to, speak to people in public speaking, you might look silly and foolish. So it's a great idea to, hey, I'm going to be there this time, talk to you about it, this area. Give yourself time to prepare. The better prepared you are, the better performance you can have. That's worked for me so far. So what type of information and details can you share with the community? Man, the PIO can do all kinds of information. Hey, we got free CPR classes. Hey, this happened at this time. We are at fault. We're just being honest with you. They can share all types of information about community concerns, public health information, like Mask Up Atlanta was one that went out a while back here in our area. But they can share all types of information, not trying to violate HIPAA, but they can share what the happenings are. They can address the public and let them know, hey, this area has kind of gotten sketchy lately. We've been over here like 20 times in the last day for shootings, probably, go around, detour it or something. So what types of information are considered confidential and cannot be shared? Well, Health Insurance Privacy and Portability Act of 1996, we're talking about HIPAA. We cannot share names, addresses, phone numbers, any information that can identify patients, because it's not always a big city thing. In a small town, you could identify somebody very quickly. Like I knew people by what truck they drove in South Georgia before I moved to Atlanta, and you could overshare. So we don't want to overshare things like that. Like, how would you feel if somebody was like, yeah, Farmer John, been messing around with his wife and, she shot him last night. That would be pretty terrible for Farmer John and his family, So we don't want to share that kind of information. We don't want to, injure their marriage or any kind of restoration. That could also have been hearsay. That's not your job to share any information like that. It's just facts, figures, and nothing to do with identification. So what recommendations do you have for journalists working with PIOs? Any journalist working with a public information officer, I would only ask you to be patient and allow the real and true story to be given by the public information officer of the organization that you're in contact with. Don't fabricate any information. Don't fabricate information. Try and make a deadline. Let us build trust with each other. The real good journalists that I know that you read about, you think about Clark Kent, they look not just for a story, they look for the truth. Investigative journalism. And again, if you and the PIO are honest with you, even if the department's at fault, the PIO should have the guts to be like, you know what, we goofed up. You now know it. Here's the truth. If we could have that type of trust and rapport built with each other, I think that we could establish not only trust with each other, but build trust in the community. Regardless of whether you like the information, it is the truth. So that would be what I would consider to be a good relationship there. I appreciate your time and patience. And this is about public information officer role that is now emerging in EMS.